Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Star Trek 3 The Search for Spock. And this movie came out in 1984, and it's directed by Leonard Nimoy, and it also stars him, and it has everyone reprising their roles as the characters that you all know and love. And I thought this movie was fine. It was better than the first movie. It was less boring than the first movie. But I also found this film to be incredibly forgettable. I could have not watched it and my life would be no different. And it's not forgettable because nothing happens in the film, but rather everything that happened in the movie, for the most part, and for the most part I mean 95% of it-ish, 90 to 95% of the movie didn't need to happen. There were a bunch of subplots that were going on in this movie that just led to nowhere and were mostly abandoned. The villains of the movie just feel like any random side characters that you would bump into in a movie, and they serve literally no purpose and had basically no impact on the story. And I don't understand why they need to be there. I just kind of forgot about them after a certain point. And I wasn't really a big fan of Christopher Lloyd in this movie. I found him to be kind of distracting and just didn't really fit this film at all. I also wasn't really a big fan of the callbacks to the previous films, mainly the second movie. In the beginning of the movie, they just literally show us previously on Star Trek, and it just shows you the ending to that movie, and I just don't understand why you needed to show that, because we all saw the second movie. Would you think this was a TV episode? This movie is not nearly as well shot as the second movie. There's nothing about this movie visually that really stood out to me. It's all very bland and nothing to me. And I believe this was Leonard Nimoy's first feature film that he directed. That might have had something to do with the lack of interesting shots in this movie. The visual effects in this movie were good, although not nearly as good as the second movie, but not terrible. But going over to my positives, because I didn't really go over those really, I did like the characters that were brought back from the first movie, and the performances were pretty good. The film works best for me when it focuses on the heroes of the film, and not anyone else. Because anything other than our main group of characters is just kind of boring and unnecessary to me. And overall, this film kind of felt like a mix between the best parts of the second movie and the worst parts of the first movie. Just mixed into one film, and this is the result. A film that's very unspecial, very uneventful, could have just been a TV episode or a collection of TV episodes and would have worked a lot better, in my opinion. But instead we got this, and it's not terrible. I didn't regret watching it. I'm not going to remember this movie for much of anything. And you kind of already know what's going to happen before you even watch the movie, just based on the subtitle, The Search for Spock. And you hear that, and you're expecting this great big adventure, and you kind of get that, but there isn't really much else to it. This movie was also very slow, not to the point where nothing was happening, but to the point where I didn't feel like I was getting much payoff from anything that was going on. There was very little payoffs in this movie, very little resolution. And because of that, a lot of it just felt unnecessary and didn't need to happen. And that's about all I have to say about Star Trek 3 The Search for Spock. It was forgettable. I'll probably never watch this movie again. I'm not upset that I saw it necessarily, but it's just very boring and not something I would ever need to revisit. And if you like Star Trek, then I guess you can skip this one. You don't need to see it. So far, just watch the second movie and nothing else is how I feel about this franchise so far. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Star Trek 3 The Search for Spock a 5 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you love Star Trek 3 The Search for Spock, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.